I'm Zoe. My major is chemistry. I'm a senior. Fun fact, I play tennis and I crochet.
I'm Caroline Hernandez. I'm a senior. I'm a psychology and Chicana and Latina studies double major. A fun fact about me is that I almost drowned in a mall fountain. So there's like a frog statue and I kind of flipped over and I almost drowned. But my uncle had to pick me up by my overall straps. So that's always a fun factor, like fun story I say. Yeah.
What have been some highlights from your time at LMU?
Some highlights would be, I guess, getting my first job, and it was with First to Go as a peer facilitator. I got to meet really great people. I got to meet my day ones who are still my day ones to this day. What else? A highlight. Changing my major was also a huge highlight for me. I got baptized and confirmed here, so that was great.
I think some highlights have definitely been the First to Go program, especially with my role as a team lead with the mental health team. I think like one of my favorite memories was our first gen week we had last year. So it was technically first gen week 2024. So it was just like a week of back-to-back events, and I remember it being like the most hectic time of programming, but I feel like it was the most fun because I mean I'd see like my friends and then I'd see Lex and Sion like every single day, so that was really nice, and doing what I love, which is like putting on events. And then I think other favorite memories have been, I think just those nights at like the library, or it's either like solo time working but having your friends like right beside you while you're working, and then someone saying like I'm hungry and then we all go out to eat. I feel like that's my favorite kind of memories in terms of LMU, but yeah, it really centers around the relationships that I've been able to cultivate.
So my next question is, who have been some role models, both student or faculty, if you want to include them, and what have they taught you?
I would say Lexi has been like a big role model for me. She has always been, I call her my guardian angel. She has always been there every time, and she's just there to listen. She's been waiting for me to crack, and I did crack one time, which was like me having a breakdown or whatever, because I'm always like holding stuff in. And she's always been there whenever I like just have a breakdown, and she's just there to like comfort me and just, I don't know, I feel like she knows me more than I know myself. Another person has been my godmother. Her name is Dr. Cecilia. She's a theology professor here. And again, she has always been there for me. We met, actually we bonded freshman year when I told her I came to the country at 11 years old, and she also came to the country at 11 years old. So it was like a bonding moment. And yeah, she's always been there. I've lived in her house. Her dog is my favorite. And then lastly is Maria Barahan. Maria is in charge of the undocumented students on campus, and she got me my first job. I got paid because of her. She's always been there as well. Anything that I need with like, especially when it comes to like anxieties of like, ICE and like other things, right? She's been there to offer me support. Yeah, those are the people who have, been there for me, and they've all taught me that I just gotta keep moving on, and I just have to trust my intuition and just like don't doubt myself.
Well, two big role models are definitely Lexi and Sion. I think they're not only my friends, but they have been one of the most like foundational mentors within my life. I think they've kind of showed me the beauty in terms of like being yourself unapologetically, and how that's really enough, especially when you're kind of learning the ins and outs of what you want to do in the future when it comes to your career. So I think they definitely have taught me about that, especially just loving others and caring for others. And then a recent mentor I think has been Dr. Vanessa Bermudez. She's a new faculty member in the psych department here at LMU. And I mean, she's my first ever psych professor that's Latina, and she's also first gen, and there's so many similarities between us. And she has like mentored me with nothing but kindness, and I think it's through her, it's kind of like almost like a aha moment. It's like, whoa, that is possible. Like there's people that look like me and that have the similar experiences that get to be in those kind of roles. Alongside with her, another two big faculty members are Dr. Owen Sofre within the theology department, and Dr. Aceves, who's in the school psychology department within the grad school here. They're both very phenomenal mentors who have, again, leaded with me with kindness, but also just um, I see the love and passion they have in their work even till this day, and they'll continue to do that. I feel like that's really inspirational. So, I mean, looking back, it's a lot of great female, powerful, and loving women that have centered and been mentors for me.
Moving on from your role models, what have been your favorite classes that you've taken?
Ooh, favorite classes. My faith and reason class was Sacred, Sinister, and Strange with Professor T. Meyer. Great class. No final. The exam is just like an oral one. It taught me about how like it was about dark beings, dark like demons and other things in the theology like realm, right? Usually where I come from, they're usually like if you see something that's like weird, don't approach, or run away. And this one she taught us like they're there for something. You just have to figure it out. I love lab, so any of my labs that I took, analytical chemistry lab was my favorite. I love AChem lab. We did titrations, a lot of things that was actually like data analysis, and you have to be very precise and accurate every time. And I was. Thank you very much. I love rhetorical arts with Tia. Love that class. Tia was she's a great professor. Oh my gosh. She also helped me in my writing. I'm not a writer. I hate writing. But that class really, she taught me how to properly write, and she gave me like great feedback that I needed. So, love that class.
My favorite classes, I'll start with prison literature. So, yeah, it's, I think, one of the most, it's like emotionally heavy. Like the things we learn is really emotionally heavy, and it definitely sticks to you even beyond that class. But I took that class. It's an English cross listed with the CLST course class. So I took that with Dr. Maya Bush, and within that class, like I said, it's like we're learning a lot about heavy stuff, but I feel like it's so necessary to learn about that stuff because if I never took that class, I don't think I would have seen how everything is so connected, and it definitely gets yourself out of your own little bubble, which I think sometimes privilege can sometimes do that, or just blissful ignorance sometimes. So I think it takes classes like that that really shake you up, push you to just sit in the discomfort of the things you're learning about and how to apply things like critical reasoning to that kind of lens when it comes to these difficult concepts. And then another class I would say is definitely my psych and ed class. It was my capstone seminar class that I took in my fall semester last semester. And I had that with Dr. Thadani, and that was a really informative class because it was like one of the few classes I've had that are like seminar style, specifically for psychology. And it's again like similar to prison lit, where a lot of the concepts we were learning kind of encompassed a lot of other different topics. So again, I think both of these classes were spaces of learning. So it's a learning space, but I mean, I learned in my second ed class that learning is difficult, and in order to kind of get yourself to learn, you have to sit with that discomfort again.
So I started off as mechanical engineering, and freshman year was great, like fall semester. So no, spring semester is also fine too. At this point, I was like, I'm not really liking this stuff, but I'm too scared to change. I don't even know what I'll change to, maybe math. And then fall semester of sophomore year came, and I had to take Calc 3, and that's when I knew I hated math. I hated engineering. I remember the final of Calc 3. I was just sitting there until like the last minute. My final exam was blank. I don't know. I was just like, I don't like this. I can't, and then my friends were just like, like, you just keep pushing, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is not for me. I also didn't tell them when I changed my major too. I was just like, I'm going to do this for me. And, winter break, I got home and I was just like, yeah, this is like, I need a sign. I need a sign that's going to make me change my major. And I got my sign and I changed the major. I had a cry sesh before because I was like so scared. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm going to change my major. She's like, why? To be a teacher? And I was like, no, chemistry is not just about teaching. Like, I can be a chemist, I could even do chemical engineering since I have the engineering background in chemistry. And she was supportive about that, so I was like, I'm just gonna change it. But after that, like, everything was great. I met some fun people. I felt like the odd one out, honestly, because I was like, oh God, they already have like friendships they've established, and I'm like new here. Anyways, but they kind of welcomed me in.
I think my majors in psychology and Chicana and Latina studies were definitely right for me. I mean, I was told a story how I came into LMU. The first 3 days, I was a health and human sciences major, and then I saw my schedule and I had 3 pre-labs in one day on just a Monday, and I realized that that pursuit of that particular career is more so outside forces, and at that in the background, it was always psychology. It was always this interest in mental health. So finding that major and having the opportunity to take not only like the general psych classes but also the upper divs like cog neuro, which I'm not much of a brain kind of person, but I really enjoyed that class. So I think within psych, it was really beautiful to kind of see how it takes a lot of approaches of like biology, then social, and then obviously psychological. It finds that kind of theories for anything, whenever it's like mental illness disorders or just intergroup relationships or just internal relationships with yourself. I find it so interesting that within this major I've been able to kind of see how everything's interconnected. And then in terms of like my CLST major, I feel like it was a perfect combination of having those two, because within CLST it was a space that I think I've always kind of been searching for in terms of meeting other people that identified with a similar racial and ethnic background as me and had similar experiences. And it really created a space where I could name a lot of my, not only my experiences, but experiences that have been historical within the Latino community. My capstone class with the CLST have been great opportunities for me to not only learn about this population, but also learn how to approach them when it comes to learning about the community and doing research not only of them, but I think for and with them. I think is a really great mentality that CLST has taught me. I think these two majors have definitely been like a perfect blend of the two because they complement each other, and I think they blend two very intricate parts of myself, which is not only like interest in mental health, but also just interest in particularly serving and being of service to marginalized communities.
What was your most difficult year at LMU, and how did you get through it?
I think to get vulnerable, I think my most difficult year was my sophomore year. That was, it happened after a really difficult time in my life because unfortunately my dad passed away the summer after my freshman year. So, coming into the usual, like, having a job and then having classes and balancing homework, that was a lot, especially when you add in grief. And I think that really reminded me how oftentimes, like, even as first gen, when we come into a space, we want to focus on just these responsibilities we have, but oftentimes life just happens to us and it's always happening to us. So I think it was a difficult time in terms of it being like a learning curve and understanding that like life will just happen around you. And I think it was also difficult because experiences like that, not necessarily just grief, but I think just dealing with the sense of like um, isolation maybe from other people's experiences, because sometimes it's like everyone's like having a casual conversation and then you're just thinking it's like this big thing just happened to me, and like how am I supposed to be normal? But I found that with community and just talking to other people, you would be surprised to find out how a lot of people relate to your experience, and not just with grief, but I think just feeling that sense of uncertainty, not believing that this is like your normal, this is life, how it looks like now. So yeah, there is difficulty, and I think there always will continue to be difficulty, but it's just kind of basking in the idea that life will always be uncertain and life will happen with you because you are a controlling factor within your life if you want to be. So I mean, yeah, it's difficult, and I know I'm gonna have to take time to still continue processing that. But I think it wasn't if it wasn't for the relationships I had and the relationships I continue to cultivate, I don't think I'd be in the spot that I'm here today.
I would say junior year was the most difficult. I had a falling out with friends that I thought would be there for me. Like, no, not there for me, but like there after, like post graduation, like even to the point of maybe if I get married, they'll be like bridesmaid or something. Um, how did I deal with that? I kind of left the situation because it was like a roommate situation, so I kind of left like mid semester, and I moved in with another person. Shout out her for real, miss her, Marilyn, if you see this. But I moved there, and at this point, I was just like, "There's no way. I don't know what to do." I put myself on the sidelines after that whole situation because it was like it's so hard for me to like open up now. I can't start. I can't start new because I'm scared that I don't know the same situation was gonna happen. So after that, that was when I actually started the crochet thingy. Actually, that's when I started. I started to crochet a sweater. Have not finished, but I feel like if you're in a particular friendship, there shouldn't be any overthinking because everything should just be clear and just you should know how things are. I didn't know how things were, so I was overthinking everything. So, anyways, started getting to like know me better, I guess. I did things that I like to do, got new hobbies, played tennis more. I have grown to just like let it go, which I did let it go before, but it's just hard sometimes when you see them again and like everything just comes back. But so yeah, I'm getting there. Whenever I get there, I will get there. The Bluff, they have that one part where there's a bench, some chairs, and another bench. I don't know if you know, but like there's one particular spot there, and I sit right in the front, the one that's close to the cliff. Yeah, it's just it's scary because I'm scared of heights, but it's so peaceful, especially like at night, and also during the winter too because the lizards aren't there, and I'm scared of lizards. So um when it's cold and like I can just sit there and just like you know it's really great. That's a good spot to unwind. Also another one is whenever I go kayaking, I usually go with my partner, so like he's the one steering, I'm just sitting, and I'm just like, wow, this is so peaceful, and I can actually just like, I don't know, it's just very peaceful to me. So just staring at the water, being in the middle of like nowhere, like in the water, right? It's scary, but like it's peaceful. Where else? Playa Vista. There's a walkway. There's actually not a walkway, a trail, and there's a spot that has like benches. But before the bench area, there's another spot that's just like close to the trash can and the lamppost. And I went there recently with my friend, and that was like the most peaceful place ever. And the thing is, like, I don't like nature, as we can tell, except for the kayaking. But because I'm always scared of bugs and stuff, so I was also scared of bugs in that moment. But it was just very, very a nice place, and we talked a lot there, so it was like a great place to unwind.
I think my favorite place to unwind is probably the Bluff, but specifically the sun when it's sunset time at the Bluff. I mean, I always see, like every single day, I never fail to just take out my phone and take a picture of a sunset when I go on the Bluff. And then oftentimes, usually in the later times in the day, that's usually when I feel really stressed out or I feel like that anxiety kind of almost peak in a sense. And I find that just kind of getting out of my room and just being by the Bluff or just feeling like the cold LA wind kind of centers you and really grounds you. So I think that's kind of been my safe little oasis whenever again I'm feeling overwhelmed, when things are getting a bit heavy or just things are hitting in waves. The Bluff is always a big memory and has been a big setting in my time here at LMU.
What's next for Zoe?
Only God knows these days. Well, graduating, and I am hoping to get a job. Had a great interview yesterday, so fingers crossed. I hope to stay in LA for like a little bit. I don't think California is not California. I don't think LA is a place I want to stay forever. Maybe I'll move back to Houston or maybe San Diego. We'll see. But wherever the wind takes me is where I'll be.
I think in terms of what's next, I will be taking a gap year, so I can dedicate this gap year to apply for masters in two different types of programs. I'm hoping to apply to masters in school psychology and then masters in marital and family therapy, just because I've always had a really deep interest in terms of like family's role or just family relationships when it comes to affecting individual well-being, but also collective well-being. And then also I've had the opportunity for my capstone research for CLST has been about Latino families. So I think that's kind of solidified my interest in terms of like possibly working with families. The marital therapy we'll see. I don't know if I want to work with couples, but we never know. I think relationships are always just interesting to kind of factor in and see because they're all systems. And I think that systematic approach has always been intriguing to me. And then for school psychology, again, like I said, I'm really interested in kind of blending that educational and psych to things. So I think that kind of birthed that interest. But beyond just grad school, I think I have a lot of life things I want to do. Like, I have my permit, but I do not have my license. So I will be getting my license straight. Once I go back home, I'm just going to be like zipping through driving classes and driving practice so I can get that license, which will be very soon. I'm manifesting getting a car, going back to doing things for myself. I think since I will be moving back home, I think it's going to take it's going to be like a little emotional reset, because as much as I love my family, sometimes I got used to this experience of living and being independent. So I think it's finding that newfound independency, but still within a familial environment. So it's going to be some growing pains, but I'm excited to see what's to come, because I think it's going to be really great and positive things for me.
My advice is to trust yourself. Also, just be you, and just like, I know like the future is like very like pressing and anxiety driven, but I like to live my life like living in the present. So I have to just take it day by day, because that's all I can do right now. I wish that I could plan and stuff, but life happens. Life gets in the way. You never know what could happen. And in order to avoid like the stress, live in the present, just take it day by day, and you'll be okay.
I think definitely giving yourself grace. I think oftentimes we tend to fall into people pleasing tendencies, where we're trying to always compensate for others, or just depleting our own social battery for the sake of others. And of course, it's always great to be kind to others, but often with that kindness, we tend to overlook that the first person we need to be kind to is ourselves. A big thing that I always recommend is creating like pockets of peace for yourself, whether that's like something that I do is I'm probably always listening to music. And I find that's comforting in the sense that there's things that not necessarily distract you, but can kind of ground you in what's happening in the moment. One of my kind of daily nightly rituals that I do is that, I mean, I'm constantly always on like social media and stuff, and sometimes that can be a lot for my brain. So I find that I get to unwind with like kind of older shows. Like I really love Golden Girls, and that's like an older, very older show, and it's with these like more older ladies, but it's just comforting in a sense. And I think also I just started doing this now, as I like to play like cozy video games at the end of my night. So I'm always on my Switch for like an hour before I go to sleep, because we're just networked to kind of think in that very productive, focused mindset. So kind of getting yourself out of that is hard, but I think it's definitely doable if we set our mind to that.
Shout out to Sarah Trigger, my day ones, yes. Who else? Jennifer, Nigel, Fifi, Zoe, who else? Who else did I miss? Marilyn. I already said shout out to her before, but Marilyn. Shout out to Lexi, Maria, Dr. Cecilia, Dr. McCallum, Dr. Duzma, all those people who have helped me, Zidra, shout out them. Those people have actually been, in each time, they've always been there for me, so shout out them. Love you guys.
Shout outs to First to Go. I mean, I think First to Go has been there since even before day one and up until now, and I think they'll continue to be here for me even beyond the bluff. Because I always say the story that I first came to LMU for the Latino Admitteds Lions Day, and that's actually, I came with my sister, one of my sisters, my abuelita, and my mom, and that's where I met Lexi in front of the fish taco truck. Like, I vividly remember this. I met her, and she told my grandma, she was like, I'm gonna take care of her once she's here, and then she'll always be looked after. And I mean, she did take care of me. Sion and her took care of me so much. This program, this community, and just other first gen and the lovely other people that I've met here on campus, my friends, my found family, as I call them, at times, have definitely taken care of me. Oh, also my family, obviously my family. I was so focused on school. I think my family has definitely been like my cheerleaders, again, since day one, and I would not be here, like physically in the space without my parents, without their decision to immigrate. And I always pride myself as very much not only a first gen student, but also very proud Latina and child of immigrants. So again, it's a testament to the effort, the prosperity, and the decisiveness and determination of my parents who are immigrants. So definitely shout out to them.